Well, good morning. I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm dressed, but again, another weather change from the last time I was here. And that was my first fish. I got on the water late this morning because the weather wasn't really supposed to be all that great. And then I got here and I started fishing. I fished for about 20 minutes and then it started thundering and I could see a big storm coming. So I just I honestly just got off the lake and went and tucked myself up underneath somebody's empty dock. So anyway, it came down pretty good, stopped raining, and then I've really just been working the heck out of this flat out here. And I'll tell you, I've been chunking and winding a chatterbait and a swim bait for probably a good, I don't know, probably close to half a mile. So when that one hit, I didn't know if I was hung up or if it was actually a fish. That's how tough it's been right now. But anyway, it's about 11 o'clock and I've probably got about 5 or 6 hours to fish. So hopefully I'm onto something. I'm on top of like a little hump with a bunch of little pads around it, and it's got some good looking grass coming up with it. So I'm going to stick around in this area and chunk and wind a little bit more, and hopefully we'll get onto something else. Stick around. This guy here just wanted to water ski all the way back to the boat. All right, decent one right there. Came off of a swim bait this time. That sucker's been eating good. Holy crap. Long post-spawn skinny bass. Jeez, this one is even skinnier than the one I caught last week. Goodness, I'm gonna get a weight on this bass just for kicks. All right, let's see here. So, long, skinny, 4.5 pound bass. I'll take it. Sun came out, so I figured I'd give my a shot at punching. Hopefully the sun stays out. I don't know, we got some stuff rolling in, but there we go. That sucker hit that way back in there. And this guy looks like he's been attacked by a bird or something, so I'm just going to get him back in the water. Look how dark that bass is, though. I'll tell you what, he's been living under those mats for a long time. So there is somewhat of a punch and bite, but they're all cookie cutter, pound and a quarters, pound and a halves. We need to find some big ones. Hey friends, if you can't tell, I forgot to do an outro while I was on the lake. I'm back home now, and I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out. You guys saw what I caught today. For me, that was a good day on the lake, and I got to catch some fish pitching and punching, which is my favorite way to catch them. So it was definitely a really good day for me. Any day you're able to get out there on the lake and go fishing is a good day. I wanted to go over some of the setups that I used and a little bit about how I caught them. So I'll go ahead and get started with that. This morning when I was fishing and there was a lot of cloud cover, I was using two different types of baits. I was either using a chatterbait or I was using a swim bait. For the chatterbait, I was using a Dobyns 734 Sierra. And when I throw a chatterbait, I usually throw one of three different setups. I either throw my Dobyns 734 Sierra, or I throw a Dobyns Champion 734, and sometimes I'll use the Dobyns 736 Glass, which is actually their the rod that they designed for chatterbaits. This is what I'm using, and I was using a 1/2 ounce jackhammer chatterbait, and I used I believe that's the Lake Fork, I think they call it the Magic Shad. I like that trailer, and I also like the Yamamoto Seiko trailer a lot too, but Yamamoto doesn't make a pearl colored Seiko. They make a white color Seiko, and I'm sure it works just fine, but for me, I like when I'm trying to imitate shad, I really want a nice pearl color like what that gives you. And I believe the color that I'm using on the jackhammer is called Clearwater Shad. For my main line, I'm using a 40-pound braid, and it's the Power Pro Slick 8 version 2. And I've got that run to a 15-pound P-line fluorocarbon leader. And that's a Lew's Tournament MB reel. I use a lot of Lew's reels. In fact, I think all my reels are Lew's reels. But that's a Tournament MB right there, and it's a 7:5 1 gear ratio. For the swim bait that I was using the Gambler Big Easy swim bait, and I'm using the Gambler hook, the hook that they designed for this swim bait. It's got a little tiny weight on there. When you buy these, they don't have the twist lock, so you have to purchase the twist lock separate, which is fine with me because I replace them all anyway. And I replaced it with the Owner large size twist, the centering pin twist lock. And the reason I went with the large size is because it does a better job of keeping the swim bait on there. I mean, it really holds it on there. And if you go with the smaller, the medium size, they only last maybe 2, maybe 3 fish max. I mean, I've seen them even rip out after 1, but that large, I mean, it really holds it on there. And you can literally use this thing until your swim bait just starts to fall apart. I was using a 17-pound fluorocarbon P-line leader. If you haven't noticed, I like to use P-line a lot. I just have a lot of confidence in that line. I rarely ever break off on this line unless a toothy creature gets on there. I want to also say that everything that I use, I purchased with my own money. I have no sponsors, so the stuff that I use is stuff that I believe in. You can take it to the bank. If I'm telling you something, I have absolutely no incentive to sell you any product or anything like that. But 17-pound P-line leader, and that's going to 50-pound Suffix braid. The rod I'm using is a Dobyns 735, and I really like this rod for these swim baits because it does a great job of casting them, and it has a little bit of a tip with a lot of backbone. And again, I'm fishing on Lake Seminole, ton of vegetation, so a lot of times you really have to horse them out of there because these bass, if they dig down in there, they can get underneath the grass, turn sideways, and then bam, they come off. So you got to keep them up near the surface, and you got to really get them back to the boat and in the boat as fast as possible before they tangle themselves up. So 735 Dobyns rod, and this is a Lew's BB1 Pro bait casting reel with a 7:1 gear ratio. And then the last thing that I caught them on was my punching setup. And for punching, that's a 1.5 ounce Rains tungsten weight. I personally like the Rains tungsten weight over other weights that I've used because, a lot of the other weights that I've used, they're really long and pointy. Whereas the Rains tungsten weight, they tend to make the weight a little fatter and it's a little more compact. And for me, I just feel like it comes through the mat a lot easier than other weights that I've used. Your experiences may differ from mine, but that's what I use. Along with that, I'm using a Gamakatsu 4/0 super heavy duty flipping hook, and a straight shake flipping hook. Probably any beaver bait will do, but I really like the Missile Baits D-bombs. I usually buy them in bulk when Tackle Warehouse has their Black Friday sale. You can get the bags of 25, and because I really go through a lot of these things when I'm fishing Lake Seminole and I'm punching through hyacinth and hydrillomats. I'm using 2 bobber stops because from my experience, this 1.5 ounce tungsten weight, it really needs more than one bobber stop. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time adjusting that weight. That's attached to 65-pound Power Pro Super 8 Slick V2 braided line. And this is the onyx color. I use the onyx color because a lot of the green colors, once you've used them for a while, they really turn white. And then you have to go back with a Sharpie or something like that and darken them up. With this onyx color, even when it starts to fade, it fades to like a gray color, which you typically get once you color it with that Sharpie anyway. So that's what I like about this stuff. And it's really smooth, and it comes through your guides. It doesn't make it doesn't make as much noise as other braid when it's coming through your guides. It comes through your guides very easily. And also, when you're working that bait through the mat, it doesn't make as much noise. And I think, you know, after everybody's come through there with their really noisy braid and making all this noise, I think, you know, maybe that's just the little bit of something difference that might make a fish bite versus not bite. I have this paired up to a Dobyns Extreme 795 flip, and this is definitely my favorite punching setup. A lot of people use the 805. I've never used the 805, and I'm sure it's a great rod. I've never had any problems with this 795 getting them out of the mats or getting them out of any cover. You can see some of my previous videos where I'm flipping. This thing, it really does a good job. Along with that, I'm using a Lew's Super Duty reel, and this is an 8-to-1 gear ratio. So I hope going through some of the setups that I'm using, I hope that helps you guys out. I'm going to try to do that with each one of these videos as I wrap them up. Hopefully it doesn't make them too long. I try to make these videos to be entertaining and somewhat educational. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like button. I really appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.